Kelly, thank you very much for those messages. Those were very meaningful, I think, to all of us, and make us all think about why we're here. And it really is appropriate, as you talked about, us coming here in peace and cooperation as we work together to try to address issues of violence in the downtown Eastside. One of the difficult things about asking a religious speaker to speak is that you have to follow them. So I'll try to be as compelling, and brought a number of my colleagues with me today, so I won't introduce them all right now, but I will introduce a few. And to my left here is Inspector Guy Robinson, and he's the inspector in charge of District 2, which includes this area that we're here for policing. And Staff Sergeant Joanne Boyle to my right, who is part of the major crime section. And Staff Sergeant Marcy Flamon. See what I said about following a tough speaker. And we also have Detective Shelley Horn from the Sexual Offense Squad. And now we've got a number of other police officers in the room, and in case you're wondering if we're like looking for somebody or something like that, we're not. One of the requests that we got at the last meeting was that they really wanted to have some beat officers, because we talked about the experiences of people in the downtown East Side, and we wanted you to hear from some beat officers that are out here every day trying to make the community safer, what their experiences are, and also for you to be able to ask them questions. So a little bit later on, I hope that they will have an opportunity to talk to you about some of their experiences, and there's no scripts or anything like that, is that they will talk about their own experiences working down here, and also if you have questions of them, then you're welcome to do that. So at the last meeting, I'll just remind you, this is the third meeting. We had the first meeting several months ago, and I guess, there was a tragedy that happened in the community, and that was the death of Ashley McKiskanek. And out of that tragedy, though, and it's always good if something good can come from a tragedy, is that it really was the catalyst for this third meeting that we're having here today. It was the catalyst for our creation of a joint collaborative relationship with the Women's Memorial March Committee, who we've been meeting with regularly away from these meetings in private. And we're really proud of some of the work that we've been doing as part of that committee. We're really proud of the Sister Watch initiative. And one of the things that I will just say about that now is that, as my chief always says, part of listening, being a good listener, is you actually have to take action about what you hear. You can't just listen carefully and then not take action. And so Sister Watch is one of those examples where we actually started with a project. We had some ideas about it. We called it Project Guardian, and what we heard from the community was, we don't like that name. And they gave us some very compelling reasons why not, and they said, we like the name Sister Watch. And we said, you're right. And we changed the name to Project Sister Watch. And so we did that together, and we're going to talk about a number of other things today to show how we're trying to respond to the community's concerns and work together with the community to address the issue of specifically violence against women in the downtown East Side, but violence in general and other community safety concerns. Pardon my voice, I've been fighting a cold and I hope I will not lose it. So what we intended to do today, but of course this is a meeting for all of us, is that we want to report back to you. There's some familiar faces that I see from the last meeting and some new faces. But we want to report back to the community about what's gone on since we last met. There were some questions asked at the last meeting, and so we want to bring you back some information that's responsive to those requests, including having beat officers come and talk about their experiences working in this area. And then once again, we will be welcoming your questions and comments and suggestions on how we can do better, because that is our goal, is how can we do better to provide public safety, to provide safety for everyone in the downtown East Side. So I think that I'll stop right there, and I will turn it over to Joanne, and she's going to talk a little bit more and respond to some of the queries that we had at the last meeting.
Thank you, Deputy. Good morning, everybody. Just a couple things. We did leave the last town hall meeting with a to-do list, and that's what the deputy is referring to today. I'd like to go through it. Different people were tasked with reporting back to you, the community. So we'd like to give you an update on some of those things. Some of them were simple to accomplish, and they've been completed, and we're happy to tell you that. time and effort. But one of the things that you, the community, asked is that we announced at the beginning of the meeting to turn your cell phones off. And that will just eliminate any disruption when people are talking. So if you could put it on vibrate or turn it off, we'd really appreciate it. Another thing that came out of the last community meeting was people wanted to see us sitting together in a circle, and that was referred to in the opening prayer. But I think this is a much more comfortable and equal setting for us, and I really appreciate the time that you took to come here today, and really appreciate the layout of the room, so that's great. Another thing that was brought up at the last town hall meeting was the number of sex assaults and the police response to sex assaults against women in the downtown Eastside. And Detective Constable Shelley Horn from our sex defense squad was here, and she heard the questions, and so she went away and worked with some analysts to come up with some statistics, and also just with some information about what typically happens with sex assault files that are generated from the downtown Eastside. So I'm going to ask Shelley to speak about that now for just a few minutes, if she could.
Okay, thank you, Joanne. Like Joanne said, we were asked to provide some statistics as to how many sexual assault files from the downtown Eastside result in charges being forwarded to Crown Counsel, and as well the conviction rate when files are charged to Crown Counsel, by Crown Counsel. So we looked at the statistics between 2001 and 2010, and we found that in the geographic location, the downtown Eastside, there was a total of 626 sexual assaults that were reported in that time frame. It's important to keep in mind that sexual assault is a big range. It ranges from any type of unwanted sexual touching all the way to the most serious types of sexual assault. So it's a big range there. We found that approximately 63 assaults per year are reported from the downtown Eastside. And of these 626 reports, police recommended charges in 124 cases, which was about a 20% rate. Can you repeat those numbers? Yep. 626 was the total number that we found in our analysis. And 124 cases were forwarded to Crown Counsel recommending charges of sexual assault. And that was 20%.
So is it just the courts then?
Pardon me?
Is it just the court?
Well, I still have some more statistics to give you, and if you've got questions after that, I'll be happy to answer. So just a summary of the files when they were forwarded to Crown Counsel. We found that 90% of the time where we recommend charges in these downtown Eastside files, Crown Counsel is approving the charges. 25% of the cases that were approved for charges are either still pending or we don't yet know the result of the court case. We also found that 37% of the cases that are approved by Crown Counsel for charges are later resulting in a stay of proceedings. When we looked at the cases that did go to court, we found that 62% of them resulted in a conviction or a conviction of a lesser offense. 25% were found not guilty, not convicted, or acquitted. And 13% of the cases were dismissed. So those were the statistics that were asked for. If anybody has some questions?
I'd like to know how come, well, maybe we should have Crown Counsel in this meeting, since it's apparently from what you're telling us in the statistics, Crown Counsel is doing their job properly.
That's not what I'm saying at all.
You said 600 and something cases were reported, 124 actually reached the courtroom.
So maybe I'll just speak to that briefly, because we don't want to make this about that issue, because it's a complicated issue. that we could spend, well, because we don't want to take up all the time talking about one issue, so we would like to get through sort of the range of things that we came to talk about. But I will speak about it briefly, because I'm very familiar with the work that goes on in the sexualized unit, having been an effectiveness sergeant there myself. And so there's a certain number of cases that are reported. The threshold to recommend charges to Crown Counsel is quite high. There are many reasons why charges don't go ahead. The victim may not want there to be any further action. That is often the case. It is a difficult thing to go through, so we respect victims' wishes in those cases. Sometimes there's simply insufficient evidence to go forward, so we believe that it occurred. We're satisfied that it occurred, but there isn't sufficient evidence that we can go forward with it. Sometimes there's another explanation. So there are many reasons, but the message that we wanted to bring to you is that when we